Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to talk about the new spec, no spec, it's an elemental shaman, and we're going to talk about the changes, the talents, and the rotation and the spells. So let's do as usually and just start with the spells. So, elemental shaman has 3 pages of spells. I know that the third page is almost only passives and one, but I mean if you play Hunter or Warrior, as I have made more videos of, it's only using 1.5 page. So already now it tells us, okay, you're playing Shaman, Elemental, and you're going to have a lot of spells. So be prepared for that. So the first thing we have is Ancestral Spirit, that is a res, Astral Recall, a Heartstone, a cooldown that gives less damage. I will say if there's anything new, but until now it's just the same as previous. Bloodlust give more haste for the raid. Incapacitated Totem is a new spell. Before you had to talent it, but now every Shaman spec has this stun totem here that actually will stun the targets. And now every Shaman spec have it as main ability. Chain Lightning, your AoE spell. Clean Spirit will remove a curse from a friendly target. Earth Elemental if you need some tanking help. Earth Shop, one of your damage abilities. Earthbind Totem if you want to make your enemies slowed. Earthquake, one of your also AoE spells. Farsight if you want to see very far away. Fire Elemental, one of your damage cooldowns. Flame Shock, one of your damage abilities. Frost Shock, also damage. Ghost Wolf, yeah, everyone knows Ghost Wolf, make you faster. Healing, Hex, Lava Burst, also damage, one of your damage abilities. Lightning Ball, damage abilities. Purge, remove magic effects from your enemies. Thunderstorm, makes some AoE and damage, and reduce the movement speed of enemies. Tremor Totem. So Tremor Totem, I cannot actually remember if we had that in Legion. Embarrassing. But it makes that if you set the totem, then every friendly target in for the 30 yards will be kind of immune for fear, charm, and sleep. It's So it's if you have let's say you were doing some PvP and you play against a warlock, you can use this Tremor Totem and it will break all the fears that is currently on. Water walking. So if you want to walk in the water. One shear, that is your interrupting for spellcasting. Then we have 4 passives. Your damage critical strike deals 200%, 250% damage instead of usual 200. Okay. Lava Surge, your flame shock damage over time has 10% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on lava burst and cause your next lava burst to be instant. Okay. Mastery, elemental overload. Your lightning bolt, chain lightning, and lava burst cast have 53 chance to trigger a second cast on the same target for 85 plus of the normal damage and 75 of the normal maelstrom generation. Okay, so that's the usual thing we have with overload, so your spells have sometimes a chance to cast additional spell. But yeah, on lightning ball, chain lightning, and lava burst. Reincarnation allows you to resurrect yourself when you die, and you can use it every 30 minutes. So that was the spell, so nothing big changes. We have the Capacity Totem that stuns, and the Fear Totem. I cannot remember if we had the Fear Totem before, but we have it now. Else I cannot see any new thing with the spells. Okay, so the rotation is as usually, you first put on your Flame Shock, because you want Lava Burst always to crit. Then you use Lava Burst, spam Lightning Ball, wait on Flame Shock, maybe give you a free Lava Burst, use Lava Burst when ready again, Lightning Ball, and when you have 60 Maelstrom, you want to use your Earth Shock. So this is basically the rotation you're going to do. You're going to use 3 spells, and when you have 60 Maelstrom, you want to use Earth Shock, so 5 spells of total rotation. I mean, so if you want to be a caster and you don't want so much to do, then Elemental Shaman is a pretty good choice if you're playing in Battle for Azeroth. Oh, and Flame Shock have cooldown now. Okay, that's a new thing actually. Flame Shock has cooldown now. Before you could just pop it on all your enemies. Okay, we see that. Okay. So now we covered the rotation, now we covered the spellbook. Let's try to see the talents. Okay. So the first one, Earthen Rage. You're damaging spells inside earth around you to come up your aid for 6 seconds, repeatedly dealing damage, nature damage to your most recently attacked target. So if I damage this guy, okay, so it keeps sending. Okay, so that's like in Legion, but now it's a. Well, there was also a talent in the first row in Legion. Okay, then we have Earth Shock. It's now increases the damage of your next lightning bolt on the target by 200. That's pretty cool. But I mean, it's not that often you can use Earth Shock, so. Well, it's okay. Elemental Blast. Harness the raw power of the elements, dealing 865 damage and increase your critical strike, haste and mastery. So Elemental Blast usually is a spell that you have very low down in your talent tree, but now it's actually one of your first choice, and I actually think it's a pretty cool spell for having. And I mean, those two are not very impressive. So now I should be able to fire Flame Shock, call Elemental Blast, and then now we have an extra damage spell in the rotation. And more crit. So now you actually have an extra spell you have to remember to use in your rotation. That makes Elemental Shaman a bit more advanced, instead if you only want 3 spells. Okay, the next one. So we have this static charge that every time you stun a target with your stun totem, it reduces the cooldown by 5 up to maximum of 20 seconds, and the cooldown is 1 minute. So you can have up to maximum up to 20 seconds, so you can hit up to 4 targets and reduce the cooldown. Earth Shield, that's pretty impressive that, well, in Battle for Azeroth, every Shaman spec is now getting Earth Shield as talent, if you want Earth Shield. I mean, for PvP I think it's pretty cool. Protects the target with a shield, healing them for 278 damage when they take damage. So I can see in this case it's only healing us every time we take damage. But I know in Restore spec it also reduces damage taken, I think. And then we have Spirit Wolf. So when we go into the Ghost Wolf, you gain 5% increased movement speed and 5 damage reduction. And it stacks every second up to 4 times. So it means after 4 seconds we will have 20% movement speed extra and 20 reduction in damage. But I like the Earth Shield. Echo of Elements. Lava Burst now had 2 charges. Our effects that reset the remaining cooldown would instantly grant 1 charge. Thank you. And then we have this one here, Totem Mastery, where we actually can get extra totems. So you place it out before it was up here at Elemental Blast. So it summons 4 totems that generate Maelstrom, increase the chance for Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning to trigger Elemental Overload, increase Flame Shock damage over time by 10, and increase your haste by 2. So you can discuss if you want Echo of Elements, 2 Lava Burst, or if you want to have 2 more haste and yeah, some more small passive effects. Or you can have Ice Fury, or our good friend that was normally the bottom here in the rotation, in the talents. And well, if you use Ice Fury, the next 4 Frost Shocks is increased with damage of 60. So it means you want to, in your rotation, you want to get 80 Maelstrom, and then use Ice Fury, and then spam 4 Frost Shocks. I don't like that rotation very much, so I probably stick with Echo Elements. So I have 2 lava bursts I can use in a row. I think that's pretty neat. Then we have Aftershock. Your spells refund 30% of all Maelstrom spent on them. Storm Elemental, replace Fire Elemental. While the Storm Elemental is active, each time you cast Lightning Ball or Chain Lightning, the cast time of Lightning Ball and Chain Lightning is reduced by 3, stacking up to 20 times. Pretty neat. And he's there for 30 seconds, so it's pretty cool damage. I mean, if you are in a PvE situation, raids or something. PvP, nah. Summons the totem at the target location for 50 seconds that hurls liquid magma at random enemy targets for every 0.9 second, dealing 180 fire damage to all enemies within 8 yards. Aftershock. Attacks that brings your health below 30% increase your maximum health by 25 for 10 seconds cannot occur more than every 30 seconds. Windrush Totem summons a totem at the target location for 50 seconds, continually granting all allies who pass within 10 yards 60% increased movement speed. Okay, so just more speed. For the next 10 seconds, 20% of your damage and healing is converted to healing up to 3 nearby endured party. So you can either choose to have this one here that will help your team, give your team more speed, or actually help yourself every time you get low. So every time you get under 30%, you get 25% more maximum health in 10 seconds. I mean, that's pretty cool for self, kind of helping yourself. Or you can have this one here that will actually heal all your raid members, but this one requires that you're not being attacked and your party members is being attacked. So in a raid I would probably take this one here for help your team with healing. High voltage, lightning bolt and chain lightning can now cause a second elemental overload. Okay, so instead of so when you cast your lightning ball, you can have an overload. So you cast 2 lightning balls. So but with this talent here, you can actually cast 3 lightning balls on 1 lightning ball. Okay. Your earth, fire, and storm elementals are drawn from primal elements, 80% more powerful than regular elements with additional abilities, and you get direct control over them. So in the 30 seconds you have your pets, you can make them much stronger. Casting Lava Burst increase the damage of your next nature or frost spell by 20. Probably take high voltage. Sounds nice, you can have 3 lightning bolts in a row. Let's see if we can trigger it. There, so now it came up with... So the animations only did 2 lightning bolts, but the damage was 3 times. It's pretty cool. So the last row. Elemental Attunement. Increase the damage of all of your Earthquake and Earth Shock abilities. Charge yourself with lightning, causing your next 2 lightning balls or chain lightning to be instant over cast and trigger an elemental overload on every target. Ascendance, yeah, makes you very big and powerful in 50 seconds, and your lava burst doesn't have any cooldown, and your chain lightning will be a lava chain lightning. And it increased the damage of how much critical strike you have. So a cooldown that makes you strong, 2 free instant cast of lightning ball or chain lightning, or increase the damage of your earthquake and earth shock. Well, Stormcleaver is like the spell we had in Legion from your artifact. So you charge up your weapon and then you can use 2 chain lightnings or 2 lightning bolts instant. I think that's the talent mode for PvP. And Ascendance, you can also use Ascendance for PvP if you want to have a burst, but I think Elemental Attunement is for PvE. as you want to have more AoE damage. So guys, this was the spells, the talents, the rotation of Elemental Shaman in Battle for Azeroth. So leave a comment below, what do you think about Elemental Shaman in Battle for Azeroth? I mean, I cannot feel the big changes, only that you have Nature's Guardian and Earth Shield now that can self-heal you pretty much. So I think Elemental Shaman is going to be a lot harder now to kill in Battle for Azeroth. I can see we don't have any more the spell where we fly a little bit, so probably be easier to catch us now, but we will have a lot of more self-heal. So we're going to be a little bit more tanky. But I think that's definitely a cool thing. So thank you guys for watching, leave a comment below what do you think about the changes, and have a nice day.